Hi everybody, and welcome to Managerial Accounting. I'm Professor Quinn, and part one of this orientation video, I'm going to walk you through what is available to you on Blackboard and how we're going to be using Blackboard throughout the semester. And in part two of the orientation video, we're going to be looking at all the ins and outs and how we're going to be using Cengage now throughout the semester. So when you first log into Blackboard, you're actually going to be brought to the announcements page. At the start of every week, so on Monday morning, I will be sending out an announcement as reminders for the entire week of what is due, some just reminders about things in the course in general. So that will be posted under the announcements tab, and it will also be emailed directly to your Northern Essex email address. So please make sure you are checking and using your NECC email address throughout the semester, because that is how I'm going to be communicating with you throughout the entire semester. So the first announcement that you'll find will tell you to go to this Read Me First section. So in the Read Me First section, you're going to find some very useful information. So over kind of our overview of Blackboard, we're going to be using it more as an information resource throughout the semester. All of your actual work, meaning your homework, your quizzes, your exams, are going to be done through Cengage now. But there is a lot of useful information here on Blackboard that I'm going to walk you through here in this orientation video. So one of the things that you're going to find here, over here on the left-hand side, are what's called Professor Quinn example videos. So these are videos that I've actually put together where I walk you through how to solve a certain exercise or problem that's either in your textbook or similar to the ones that are in your textbook. And I've identified what topic I'm covering in each video and also what exercise I'm either covering that's exact to the one that's in your textbook or is similar to the one that's in your textbook. So if you're finding that you're struggling, you have some questions about things, and it maybe is late at night, come in here, click on one of these Professor Quinn videos, and it might help you just better understand the topic overall. Under the discussion board link here that you see also on the left-hand side, you'll find two discussion boards that are available to you throughout the entire semester. So the first one is called Have a Question. So again, if you're sitting late at night trying to get your homework done, you've watched my Professor Quinn videos, you've used some of the resources that are on Cengage now, like the Show Me How videos, and you're still having some trouble, you can post your question here. Please make sure that you're only posting homework questions, not quiz or test questions, and maybe one of your classmates can answer the question for you. So you can post your question here. Always still email me your question just in case somebody does not answer your question. I want your question to get answered, and I will answer that as soon as I can get to it. So definitely always email me, but you have the option of posting it out there for your classmates as well. And if you happen to be working on an assignment late at night and you're finding that this chapter is coming really easily to you, take a moment and just pop into this section and maybe you can answer a question for one of your classmates. The second one is called a piece of advice. So throughout the semester, if you find that there's a certain study tool that you're using that's really helpful for you, preparing for an exam, or you're loving watching the Professor Quinn videos or the Show Me How videos in Cengage, post that piece of advice to your classmates. Let them know what you have found to work really well for you in this class, and make sure you check in on it periodically and see what other people are saying. Maybe you forgot that there were flashcards in Cengage now, or that you could take a quiz, a practice quiz in Cengage now. And these are just kind of nice reminders for you when you're hearing what your classmates are doing that's helping them be successful in the class. For email, I have disabled the Blackboard email in here because when you email me through Blackboard email, it only lives in Blackboard. It actually doesn't come directly into my NECC email address. And I like to get back to my students as quickly as possible. So please make sure you're using my email address that is in the syllabus. All of your grades for the semester are going to be found right here under the My Grades tab. They'll also be in Cengage now as well, but I post them in both locations so that you at any time have a solid idea of where you stand in the class. So there are 8 important tasks that you need to complete in order to get started in the class. So first and foremost, definitely watch both orientation videos so that you really do have a very clear understanding of how we're using both websites this semester. You're going to read through the syllabus that's below. You're going to want to read and print out the calendar and the homework, quiz, and test schedule that are also below, as they have all of the due dates and times for every assignment, quiz, and test this semester. It's really going to help you stay on track. I tell my students all the time that are in online classes, the best way to be successful in an online class is to schedule every week time to work on the class as if you had to go into the class at the campus. So if you have time on Thursday evenings between 6 and 7, every Thursday between 6 and 7, make sure you're sitting down to work on this course. If you don't do that, you're going to find that you fall behind very quickly, that you're trying to get all of your assignments done on the day that they're due, and that's never going to be enough time. So please make sure you're really scheduling time for this class to work on it. Once you've done all that, you're going to sign and date the syllabus agreement form that's below. This is a graded homework assignment and it's going to be submitted to me. You're then going to take the syllabus scavenger hunt quiz, which is also a graded homework assignment. You're then going to introduce yourself to your classmates and also respond to at least 2 of your classmates' introduction using the link that's below. You're then going to want to click on the Cengage Now link that's on the left-hand side and follow the instructions so you can get yourself logged into our Cengage course. I also have included in there a whole bunch of different options in terms of purchasing the textbook and the access code. And then you're going to do the first 2 assignments in Cengage Now. So down here under the syllabus schedule and calendar, I've provided you some very important information. So here you have a calendar. So this printable calendar tells you when every assignment, quiz, and test is due. So you can use this as a way of kind of checking the days off as you go. You will notice that for basically every chapter, you have 2 weeks to complete the assignments that are due for that chapter. I cannot stress to you enough that if you wait to that final week, you wait to the day that all those assignments are due on Wednesday and try to complete them all, you are never going to have enough time to do that. So please make sure you are utilizing the week that I don't give you any assignments. Don't just take this as a free week and sit back and do nothing. Start those assignments because you need to have a 72.5% or better on every homework assignment to get into the next homework assignment and to access the quiz or test. So if you don't utilize the weeks that you have no assignments, you are going to be very sad when you get to the week that all of your assignments are due and you're trying to squeeze everything in. Don't put yourself in that position. I give you 2 weeks purposely so that you have plenty of time to fit into your schedule to work on this class. So if it's nights, if it's weekends, if it's during the day when your kids are in school, whatever the case may be, figure out time and schedule that time appropriately. Remember, with any 3-credit course, which this is, you are supposed to be spending on average 6 hours a week on that course, which does not include any class time. So even if this was a face-to-face class, those 6 hours would be in addition to the time you spend in class. So just because you don't have assignments due certain weeks doesn't mean you should not be spending time on it. So please make sure you are paying attention to those due dates and times and giving yourself plenty of time and giving yourself the advantage of being able to redo your homework assignments if you want, and not having to try to cram everything into the final day. I also provide you a homework quiz and test schedule. So the top, I give you some reminders, things like you have to get a 72.5 or better on the assignment that's listed before that one in order to get to the next one. And you also have to receive a 72.5% or better on the assignment listed before the quiz or exam in order to access that quiz or exam. You are not required to receive a 72.5% or better on each quiz or exam to move on to the next chapter, however. So for example, when you receive a 72.5% or better on the Chapter 2 homework assignment Part 2, that's going to open quiz number 1 for you, as well as Chapter 3 lecture assignment Part 1. So just be mindful of that. I give you some reminders about when to hit that submit button in Cengage Now and when not to. You can view the answers immediately for your homework assignments. You can take your homework assignments and lecture assignments more than once. So if you get a 72.5 on the first attempt, but you don't want that to be your grade in the class, you can take it again. And on your second attempt, if you get an 85, that 85 is going to count for you in the class. However, only attempts that are submitted by the due date and time will count. as part of your grade. So if you took that second attempt 2 days after the due date, that 85 won't count, the 72.5 would. So just be mindful of that. Once you start a quiz or test, you do have to complete it, and they are all timed, but I do give you plenty of time, so there's no reason to feel that you're going to be rushed through that. Once you have submitted your quiz or exam, you will see your overall score immediately, and the correct answers will become available to you the next day after the due date, starting at 7 p.m. So you just have to go into the grades tab, click on your grade for that quiz or exam, and it will open up that quiz or exam. They'll show you the answers you submitted, what you got right and wrong, as well as the correct answers. For quizzes, you're allowed to have 2 attempts. So again, if the first quiz grade you get is a 60, you can go through, see what questions you got right and wrong, go back to your homework assignments, the textbooks, try to figure out what you did wrong, take that quiz on a second time. You will not have the exact same questions the second time, but they're going to cover similar topics. So now you're going to be a little bit more prepared to properly answer those questions. And the higher of those 2 quiz grades count for your grade in the class. So everything you can take more than once except your exam. So lecture assignments you can take twice, quizzes you can take twice, and homework assignments you can take up to 3 times. So you'll see here all of the assignments that you have, the date that they become available, the due date, how many attempts, and any minimum required grade that you need. Notice that all of your assignments technically become available to you the first week of class. So you have the option of getting ahead in the class. So if you know that you have a busy work week coming up, or February vacation for your kids are coming up and you'd like to go away, you can get your assignments done that are due that week ahead of time. So even though they're all available to you, you do have to complete them in the order that is shown, because again, you need to get a 72.5 on the previous assignment in order to get to the next assignment. You'll notice in each chapter you have lecture assignments and homework assignments. So lecture assignments are short videos that are going to give you an overview of some of the learning objectives in that chapter. You'll have to answer some questions. And then the homework assignments are going to only cover the learning objectives that you just learned about in those lecture assignments. So with an online class, since you don't have face-to-face instruction, these lecture assignments are basically giving you a little bit of a lecture that you would get if you had come into class. So take advantage of these lecture assignments. Pay attention to the examples that they give, the terminology that they cover, because then you're going to apply those concepts once you get to those homework assignments. So please be very mindful of those lecture assignments because they can be very useful. In the syllabus at the top, you will find all of my contact information. So just because this is an online class doesn't mean that I'm not accessible to you. You can email me, you can come see me during my office hours, you can give me a phone call. I'm not typically in my office very often because I'm either teaching or I'm working with students. So email is definitely the easiest and fastest way to get in touch with me if you have a question. But you're always more than welcome to come see me. And if you can't meet with me during my office hours and I can be there at another time for you, I'm more than happy to do that. So the textbook that you need is what we call the Cornerstones of Managerial Accounting. It's the 7th edition and it also comes with a Cengage Now access code if you purchase it at the bookstore. And I'll go over your different purchasing options in a moment. In order to be in the class, you need to have a C or better in Accounting 102. If you did not receive that C or better, please make sure you withdraw from this class and re-register for an Accounting 102 section because at the end of the add drop period, any student that has not met that requirement is administratively withdrawn, which means that you're dropped from the class and it's past the add drop period, which means you cannot add another class. So please make sure you go ahead and withdraw from the class if you do not meet that minimum grade. So your grading, homework is going to count for 30% of your grade. So your lecture assignments and your homework assignments combined are going to average out to 30% of your grade. This is a significant portion of your grade, and you truly get to decide whether this is going to be an A or an F. Because if you are doing your homework assignments, you're taking advantage of those weeks that I do not give you assignments to really work on them, taking assignments more than once to improve your scores. At the end of the semester, your homework grade, that 30% of your grade, can be a solid A if you decide it to be. If you're missing assignments, not completing assignments, all of these things, you can have your homework assignment be a D or an F, and that can dramatically drop your overall grade. So you get to decide. I'm giving you 30% of your grade, so take advantage of that. As I mentioned before, you have to get a 72.5 or better on the previous assignment in order to move to the next assignment. It is your responsibility to manage your time properly, to make sure all of your assignments are submitted on time, especially since I'm giving you 2 weeks to do every chapter's worth of assignments. However, I do know that things can come up, so I allow students 2 extensions on homework assignments during the semester. This does not apply to quizzes or exams. This is only good for lecture assignments or homework assignments. Also, each extension is only good for 1 individual assignment. So, for example, if you need an extension on the Chapter 2 homework assignment Part 1, that would be one of your extensions. You do not get an extension for all of the Chapter 2 assignments. So it's for individual assignments. So please be mindful of that. In order to receive the extension, all you have to do is email me prior to the due date and time of the assignment, and you'll automatically be granted a 24-hour extension. So use those extensions sparingly, use them when you really need them. And again, it's only for lecture assignments and homework assignments, and it only relates to one particular assignment, not an entire chapter's worth. So because this is a fully online course, doing these homework assignments are truly essential for you to understand the material. That is why I implement that 72.5% or better grade requirement. Because if you're missing what you cover in the first few learning objectives of a chapter, and you don't do the lecture assignment, you don't do the homework assignment, you're going to struggle when you get to the exams. And I don't want people to get to that. So really pay attention to your due dates. Really make sure you're checking your NECC email so you get those reminders and announcements every week. Print out that calendar, print out that detailed schedule that I give you so that you can really stay on track with your assignments as you go forward. You're going to have 4 quizzes this semester. Again, you get to take each one of them twice, and the highest grade counts for your grade in the class. And combined, that's going to count as 10% of your grade. And then your 4 tests, which are on 2 chapters apiece, in total count for 60% of your grade. Your lowest test grade only counts for 10%, and your highest test grade of the 4 count for 20%. And the remaining 2 chapters tests count for 15% each. So we're all allowed to have a not great day, a rock star day, and 2 pretty good days in the middle. So just make sure about paying attention to those dates as well. I do not give any extra credit assignments because I give you 30% of your grade to positively affect. So that's going to be more than any extra credit assignment could ever give you. So really take advantage of having 30% of your grade in your hands and make it either an A if you'd like it to be an A, or if you don't want to do work, that's going to drop pretty quickly to an F, and you're not going to be able to access your quizzes or your tests. And if you're not participating in the course, you will be dropped. Remember, this is an online class, so participating and by doing your assignments, doing your quizzes, doing your exams on time, all makes you a participating student. So please make sure you're participating in the class, otherwise you will be dropped from the course. Again, emails, please make sure you're using your NECC email address. That is how I'm going to communicate with you, so I would like you to communicate with me that way as well. Please do not use a personal email to send me an email. Because in the past, I've had students send me an email from their personal email and it goes into my spam or junk folder and I never even see it. And I want to get back to you as soon as I can and answer your questions. So please make sure you're using NECC. So once you've read through all of that information, you're going to come down here, click on this Word document. You're going to type in your name and date, and you're going to upload that to me, clicking on this syllabus agreement form link. You're going to do your syllabus scavenger hunt quiz and introduce yourself to your classmates. So again, over here you find those Professor Quinn example videos. You'll see that there are several per chapter. Again, I tell you what exercise I'm covering or what is the same topic that I'm covering exercise in your textbook. I tell you what chapter and what topic I'm covering for each one. So really take advantage of these videos. They can be very helpful. Under the discussion link, again, you're going to introduce yourself to your classmates. They have the question discussion board post is available to you. Also one that's called Piece of Advice that I mentioned before. you'll see that there are 22 posts already in here. These 22 posts are from students that have already taken and completed this course. So take a moment to really go through those posts, see what your classmates have been telling you is the best way to be successful in the class. See what resources they're using in Cengage now and Blackboard that they found to be very useful. So take the time, go through those posts, and then when you have time, add one for yourself. Let your classmates know what's really working for you. Once we have the tutoring schedule, I will post that here for you as well. The tutoring is held in the Business and Academic Center that is on C201 on the Haverhill campus. And again, once that's available, I will post it here. Again, all of your grades are located here. Under Cengage Now link, some information regarding Cengage. I'm sure many of you have used this in Accounting 101 and 102, but if you haven't used Cengage Now before, I've given you a little bit overview of what Cengage Now is. Please make sure you save this website right here, because once you've logged in for the first time, you don't have to go through Blackboard to log in again. You can just use that website and get yourself logged in. So to get registered, you can click right here. You can sign in if you already have an existing account from Accounting 101 and 102. You'll sign in like you always do. And then you have options when it comes to your textbooks. So you can purchase the package at the bookstore, which will come with the loose leaf version of the textbook and an access code. And you'll just enter that access code once you log in. You can buy just the access code at the bookstore. That gives you the ebook as well. So if you don't feel like you need to have the hard copy version of the textbook, you can save some money and just buy the access code, and it will give you the full ebook. The ebook is very interactive. You can take notes, you can highlight. There's a lot you can do in the ebook. So if you'd like to just have the ebook, you can do that as well. You can purchase an access code directly through the link through here. It will give you the option to purchase one. So if you just want to purchase it right through there, you can do it as well. I believe it's slightly cheaper than the bookstore, but not by much. And then if you're unsure if you want to use an ebook, if you are just waiting for your next paycheck or your textbook voucher to come in, you can still get registered into the class. You can still access Cengage Now. They give you a 14-day free trial. So no matter what, everybody should be logged in. Everybody should be submitting their assignments that first week of the semester, because you do have a 14-day free trial. So please take advantage of that. If you used Cengage Now in Accounting 101 and 102, you might see when you log into Cengage Now that you still have days available for your financial accounting textbook. That doesn't matter. This is a completely separate textbook. So just make sure you need a completely different access code. It's a completely different book for managerial accounting. If you're trying to find the book and or the access code online for a cheaper price, you're more than welcome to do that. But before you purchase any access code, please email it to me first, because there's a lot of access codes that are out there that for this textbook, but not all of them will work with our course. So anyone that you see that works with Blackboard or Moodle or any of those ones do not work with our course. So if you find one that's a little bit cheaper, email it to me first. If it's right, I'll let you know. If it's not going to work, I'll let you know that as well, so you can save some of your money. So those are your options when it comes to textbooks. If you have any questions regarding the textbook, please just email me and I'll be happy to walk you through anything. So that ends part one. Part two is going to walk you through how we're going to be using Cengage Now.